we've decided to start a new series entitled Every Lie Told on Frenemies, which will be a deep dive containing thorough compilations that will shine a light on every lie and contradiction told on the former popular podcast. Episode 1. Trisha's new boyfriend is Gila's brother. 1. When Ethan brought up concern over how long the podcast would last, Trisha reassured him that he didn't need to worry, because even if they fought, she believed that they still had to do their jobs.
Built this whole set and table, and I wonder, I wonder how many episodes we make before this whole thing is burned to the ground.
No, I think what's good about it is it's like we're like The View. You're like Joy Behar, and I'm like Elizabeth Hasselbeck. And even if they fight, they still have to do their job,
Yet every time they got into an actual argument, she immediately stormed off, exclaiming that she was quitting, with the last time being the actual time that she quit.
And
I'm like literally gonna leave though, like once this is over.
no, I know. So I'm trying to resolve this because
The more we talk about it, the worse it's gonna be. Like, good luck. Honestly, good luck. Thanks for having me on 5 episodes. Love it. It was so much fun, and I'm over it. Good luck. It's like, you and Jax don't serve each other, so.
Jax? Well, I can't believe you're going after Jax. He's such a sweet guy.
I love you.
All right, Trisha.
All right, bye. Thanks for the great episode. I literally don't care. Literally, I don't want to come back because I really care.
So she always making comments about the family and how
I wasn't. That wasn't it. I said, Hila should be a guest on the podcast, and you're like, don't Hila. She's the one we talked about. A queen. You guys can talk about all the time, but don't mention her name.
Okay.
I think we should just end it, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
She's such.
She's not.
And you are too. And
You
have no phone.
All right, you should leave. We'll talk later. Yeah, you should get out.
I am going, but we're not talking later. You too. Wow. Holy cow, that's crazy. I mean, I don't know how I just don't see what you just did. That's really
What
crazy.
did I do?
We have to end it now. Like, really.
What did I do?
We got to stop for real. Really. We
Okay.
need to stop. Please. Okay.
Whenever you're ready, you can walk away.
So.
In the conversation, I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around everything I say.
All right, Ethan, I'm asking to end this. I'm asking
You can leave anytime, Trisha.
But then you're making this thing where we're not ending the show, and you get to sit here and be like, okay, well, that just happened, and you're eating pizza, and then
I will end the show the minute you walk off the frame.
All right, so let's just end it, please. Thank you guys for watching, and I don't want it to be a thing where you're just sitting here eating pizza and you become a meme.
So then I'll say I'm sorry.
Okay.
Obviously, I don't want to get in an argument over
I really
like
need
your
to leave.
Okay, all right, we're done. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Not so much like The View, was it? Because only one view was allowed on this set, and it was Trisha's. And if you disagreed with it, the next view on set would be the one of her storming off of it. When the topic arose in the episode, Trisha told Ethan that she preferred men who were, stating that she did not like the alternative.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
You prefer circumcised.
I always get this confused. I just don't like the skin. I don't know what that means.
You like no skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
However, during their first meeting on the H3 podcast, Trisha said the exact opposite when she was cosplaying as someone who believed she was a gay man.
Then he was half Jewish. I was like, you are
Was
not
he circumcised?
Without the skin? What is that? Is that
Yes.
circumcised? Yeah, he was without the skin.
And do you prefer that? Is that your preference?
Well, no. I like a skin now.
Because gay men like the skin.
I love the skin. Yeah, it's more sensitivity.
She has since admitted that she wasn't trans and was only pretending.
I want to because I just feel like it doesn't represent me anymore. You know what I mean? Like when I watched it, I was like, yes, it's cute and it's fun to have like a key. It's like, oh, she pretended to be trans or whatever. But it's
3. Trisha told Ethan that she didn't watch his podcast, so she wasn't sure how he did things.
Wait, is this a structured podcast or are we just talk?
No, we're just talking.
Oh, okay, so it's not like okay. I don't watch your podcast, but I thought you had like segments because you do like highlights. So I thought
No, I'm
there
not
was,
doing segments.
So we're just talking.
However, that wasn't true. Trisha had been watching the H3 podcast since before she had even met Ethan, so she was very familiar with his content.
Do you know who Boogie is?
No.
He's like a gamer. He was like 600 pounds and then he lost a bunch of weight. I don't know if he did it naturally.
Watermelon diet?
No, but he was on H3 podcast yesterday, like 2 days ago, and he was talking about the best podcast with Grace Helping. No, I can say this because I listened to every podcast that was nominated. I truly do. It's not just because Jason and David lost best podcast, because I watch H3's podcast now too, and our H3 podcast. And I actually really, really like them. Like, I did a video ranting about something they talked about because I'm an avid viewer.
For Trisha outright stated that she only got with Moses to troll Ethan and only later developed actual feelings for him.
Oh, really?
Why are you dating my brother-in-law?
Can I tell you the truth? Like, honestly?
Yes.
Because, like, at first it was like, I just thought it was just, like, funny. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so funny. Like, I just, like, I'm coming back on the podcast. Like,
Yeah. And?
Yeah.
That's it?
I mean, that's how it started, for sure.
So do you usually people out of just to make a joke?
Yeah. Well, no, not always, but, like, yeah, like, sometimes to be like, oh, and it's, like, funny. Mm-hmm.
So you Moses for a joke, but then you found out that he was much more than a joke to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yet she threw a fit when she found out that Moses also first got with her for the sole purpose of trolling, which she reveals mere minutes later in this same episode, with Ethan calling her out for it.
You actually were the reason of our first breakup. We weren't dating, but we were.
Yeah, you made this hysterical video about how I was trying to sabotage your relationship.
Yeah, because in the thing, we watched it together, and I was like, oh my, you're like, oh yeah, you said he was applying as a goof, and I was like, is that true? You applied as a joke?
Yeah, you just said you him as a joke.
Okay,
why are you offended? Like, that seems way worse. He's like, hey, I'm just going to apply as a joke, but then he's like, oh, I like her, and you're like, I'm just going to as a joke to spite them. I mean, that's crazy.
And also claimed she had no feelings whatsoever for him during this time on her own channel, stating that she was simply bored and he was around, so it was convenient.
I thought I fell in love during the call, like, oh, I'm in love, but really, like, just bored.
5. Trisha told Ethan that she and Moses had been together for 6 months during her first appearance on Frenemies, which was filmed in September of 2020, making their official anniversary in March.
I guess consistent.
How long has it been? It's only been a couple months.
6 months. 6 months today, right? Yeah. 6 months today? Tomorrow. Today! Oh, 6 months today!
Yet later she'll change this to state they weren't together until August, when she's using this change of dates as a defense to prove that Moses was not seeing other women during the time he was seeing her, when he was.
We never were, like, officially dating until, like, August of that year because, like, especially in the summer, like, we didn't talk to each other a lot. Like, there was a lot of imperfections on his part.
Yet she used their anniversary of March to prove to Ethan they had been together long enough to buy a house. But if what she's saying is true in the later clip, and they weren't even solid until August, then Ethan was correct when he stated they had only been together for 2 months, which was a short period of time to be getting a house together. 6. On that same episode, Trisha easily called Hila out of her name.
Never. On that episode, you asked Hila, I think this is like a ploy for Trisha to come to our house. She goes, she's not coming. It's not happening. I was like, what a bitch. Like, I literally said that to her too. I was like,
she was just kidding.
I don't think so.
Even though prior to coming onto the podcast, she stated that she didn't want to call Hila names because she didn't like doing that, and especially didn't like that word.
Ethan just wants to see me in person. I know Dan does too, and even Hila. She even said somewhere in the podcast, like, let Trisha come on and I'll tell her my opinion. And I say, bring it on, girl. I was gonna say bitch, but I don't like that word, especially because I don't want people to think I'm coming for her.
7. When Trisha was defending what a good partner she is for Moses, she stated that she was obsessive and wasn't interested in anyone but him.
Yeah. I'm also really like obsessive. Like I'm obsessed over him. So I feel like a lot of people
that's not a good quality.
No, I feel like that's a good thing because that means you're like all about that person. Like,
no, I think that's.
I wouldn't want to someone else. Like, that's when I know I'm like in love with somebody.
Yet mere moments prior, she was talking about how after meeting him, she was doing that very thing, hooking up with people.
Like, what are you guys? And like, we didn't know. You can't just say like we're dating after like a week of meeting.
No,
like,
I didn't even know that you guys were even like talking or hanging out.
Yeah, but it was definitely just like hooking up at the beginning for sure. Like as I was doing tapes with like, all these people and stuff.
Something she admitted that Moses did not like.
Retired from like shooting boy girl stuff before I met Pasha. Like, I think like I knew I wanted to find a companion in my life, and I knew that I just wouldn't find it while I'm still shooting boy girl.
I get it. That's how we were too. Because he was like, "Well, if you're doing it, maybe we can't date you because I was doing it with it." I get it. It's kind of like a weird thing.
Did you hear that? She said that Moses told her if she was doing that, they couldn't continue to date. Because in spite of what she says they actually do to this day, consider their anniversary to be in March, not in August, and celebrate it every year.
It's not even our 1 year anniversary yet. So I'm like, maybe our 1 year anniversary, like March 5th, like 14th. And
oh, you guys will be together for a year in March?
Yeah, we met
March
14th.
Time. That's crazy.
So
and it's also the 2 years ago today, I went on my first date with my husband, so it's our 2-year anniversary.
happy 2-year anniversary to us.
8. When Ethan called out the fact that he didn't like that Trisha went through Moses' DMs because it was possessive, Trisha defended the action by stating that she only did it because Moses used to DM girls without her knowing. Therefore, she needed to see his DMs to reconstruct their trust.
See, like I don't like that you're going through his messages every night. I find that possessive.
Well, there's just like a little issue like a couple months ago before we were dating, and I was just like, I just need to know for my own trust. But now that I have it, I really don't look. I think like the first night I was like so excited, and now I'm like, oh, like he literally doesn't respond.
However, that isn't true. Trisha has always gone through all of her boyfriend's DMs and has bragged about doing so because she likes to exert that kind of control over her partner in a relationship.
You want to hear a confession that I did? This is like super embarrassing and super like creepy. I went through like all of Jason's texts from like years ago to see how he talks to girls that he met on Tinder.
That's not okay.
I know.
She even later bragged in that same episode about how much she loved having access to his private messages, allowing him no privacy whatsoever.
I have all access to his Instagram accounts, phone, Twitter.
That's the definition of a good, healthy relationship.
Like I always know when you guys are texting him. Like I always just know. Like even before when you guys would text him and like, what's the tweets? Like what are these about? I'm like, don't respond. Like way early on. Yeah.
Freaky.
I love it. I know the group chat. So
9. When Ethan brought up how Trisha accused her then boyfriend Moses Hackman of messaging girls who weren't even of age yet, Trisha denied that she ever made this accusation.
Well, he just said that. Well, first of all, you were accusing him of like flirting with minors. Do you take that back?
No, that's oh my god.
Okay, can I just explain everything?
No,
hold on. You stop. Let me explain what happened because the people deserve to know. Pull out my phone and read the DMs.
I did not say minors. I can pull out my phone.
You said
and read the
underage.
DMs. No, I didn't.
You want me to get my phone?
Inappropriate age, very young girls that are like 22. That's what I said. Yeah, pull it out because I even showed him inappropriate age for him. He's like they
That's
were like
not
22.
what you were saying. You were saying under 18.
I didn't say under 18. There's no way I said that. There is no way.
Hang on.
And Ethan proved a moment later that she actually did make that accusation.
I literally don't want to have a fight.
Here, you said he talks to underage girls.
No.
Right there. He talks to underage girls.
Weird. Where I literally don't see
Right there. He talks to underage girls. Confirm that it
think
says
of what that was. Yes.
10. When Ethan read text messages that he received from Trisha, he read one of her calling a woman that Moses was dealing with fat.
Dude, I know we don't talk, but Moses is disgusting. I have no intention of making anything about this, but maybe check him talking to your fans. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
This is from a fat fan of yours who is 23.
Yet Trisha has repeatedly tried to get the internet to believe that she has never once made fun of someone's appearance or weight.
I wouldn't make fun of somebody for that. And obviously appearances, I'm not here to talk about anyone's appearance. When I have a little pig face.
11. When Ethan reads Trisha's text messages to him about Moses, he reads one where Trisha told him that dating Moses was never a troll.
You said, just so you know, none of this was a troll. I truly thought he liked me, but he played me.
However, if you remember earlier, she told him that pursuing Moses in the first place was in fact a troll to get Ethan back.
You dating my brother-in-law.
Can I tell you the truth? Like, honestly?
Yes.
Because, like, at first it was like, I just thought it was just, like, funny. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be so funny. Like, I just, like, and then I'm coming back on the podcast, like, brother.
12. When Trisha spoke of how she had left a mark on Moses during a fight, she portrayed it as if she lightly tapped him.
And then he said that you were,
Because we weren't dating, and like in his defense, like we weren't dating, but then also
he said he broke up with you because you started like punching him.
He's shaking his head no.
Oh, okay. You said I could say everything.
I did not punch him. You said that's why you broke up with me because I punched you? I went like this.
Okay.
And he's frail. Like,
Hustle?
He had bruises. So, of course, he's like, oh my God, like, look. And I was just like, I didn't do it like on purpose. I wasn't like that. You know what I mean?
This was the result of that fight. 13. Trisha then spoke of how she refused to let her boyfriend Moses leave when he wanted to.
You guys were fighting over his phone? Oh my God.
Well, then I took his keys, and so he was trying to get the keys back. But can I say...
Yes.
How long did we fight for the keys? Like 12 hours? Yeah. Off and on. Basically 12 hours of fighting. But I had him, like, I was putting all my weight on it on the bed, like, to, like, not let him get it. Because I'm like, okay, all my weight's on it. He's not going to be able to get the keys. Super impressed about Moses that day. I threw his keys over my gate, you know, like, it's a really tall gate, like, 8-foot gate. He just hopped over it.
Really?
I was like, whoa, who is that? Like, I was expecting him to, like, whatever, but he hopped over it. And then I tried to stand behind his car, and he almost ran me over.
And this is something she's done with multiple partners, where she's either physically restrained them or prevented them from leaving her when they wanted to. She did it with her ex-boyfriend, Sean Vanderwilt.
I physically restrained Sean from leaving me and calling me names. Never once did he retaliate back.
And she did it with her ex-boyfriend, Jason Nash.
Jason almost called 911 on me last night.
There it is. Jason almost called 911 on you.
Yeah.
Why? What were you doing?
Nothing, like literally.
Shut up.
I wasn't doing anything.
David, gonna throw her under the bus.
I literally didn't do anything.
I mean, what she did, like, wasn't that bad.
I was blocking the door.
For an hour and a half.
I sat there. He went into that bedroom and I just sat there. But then...
She sat right here.
Wait.
She sat here like a prison guard. And I was like, Trisha, get out of the way. I'm going home. I want to go home. I need some time to myself. She's like, no.
Holy shit. Is this true?
Yeah.
Like, you're not leaving. I go, I'm calling 911. She goes,
good, do it.
14. Trisha stated that when Moses told her something in private, she kept it private, unlike Ethan, who she said would expose what Moses told him in private to the public.
Insecurity.
Okay. I'm not going to for Moses' sake, because you know what? I love Moses and I respect like the stuff he tells me in private.
You're making
he tells you something in private and you put it in public. He tells me something in private. I'm going to keep it private.
However, Trisha herself would repeatedly share what Moses told her in private in later episodes.
You better just. Well, if just so you know what happened, she was talking about like how you're like my mom's. She says like your brother hates you and your mom's not. Like she says this stuff in passing and it really upsets Hila.
15. Trisha also stated that the reason her and Moses got back together after being broken up was because Trisha needed him to protect her when a crazy fan broke into her place.
really weird people in my house. And that's just actually another reason. Me and Moses, the time we broke up and got back together was because I was in crisis. Because the second time we got back together was like in July. And my security was like, hey, there's like people like casing your house, but we didn't, like, definitely wasn't fans of mine. And
however, she later admitted that was a ploy that she used to get Moses to come back.
No, he completely ignored me. Talking about my significant other now, Moses, like completely ignored me for weeks because of the isolated physical incidents. It was awful. And again, rightfully so, but I wasn't giving him space or boundaries. I was just blowing up his phone everywhere I could. And yeah, that he came back on his own. I didn't have to guilt or anything. I've definitely guilted him before that, like, oh, for my safety. And I had people show up to my house and it was really scary. And I did use that. It was scary, it's true, but I also did use that to kind of be like, come back or whatever.
16. Trisha talked about how she grew up in a gated community with her father.
The gated is awesome. I love the gated.
Yeah, my dad lives in a gated and I like grew up in a gated with him, so.
However, on her own channel, she portrayed herself as growing up much poorer.
Or something like that, but like, I came from like literal trash, like literal like trailer, like.
So did she grow up in a gated community or in a trailer? And what other lies, hypocrisies, and contradictions will we find next? Find out in the next episode of this series.